Shangri-La. The very name conjures up a place both magical and mystical. I'm in the foothills of the Himalayas, and there behind me you can just see some of the tall peaks revealing themselves through those mysterious clouds.
Shangri-La was a legendary kingdom where people never grew old. So what better place to go in search of an animal that keeps us all young at heart?
China is vast. It's got the greatest mountain range, the Himalayas, the highest plateau, more caves than any other country, and 3 of the longest rivers to be found on Earth. In this series, I'm going to search out some of China's furthest corners. It's a little bit dicey going in here, discovering the unexpected and thrilling life that's to be found here. I think this is your snow leopard.
Oh, look at that one.
Look at that one. On the trail of the unique animals, landscapes and people of wild China. Hey!
I'm in Shangri-La, in the shadow of the Himalayas. For hundreds of years, this was a secret place, cut off by the high mountains from the rest of the world. In 2001, this corner of southwest Yunnan was renamed Shangri-La, after the legendary kingdom it had inspired. I'm exploring it from top to bottom, starting at its highest peak.
This is quite a road. We're already above 4,000 meters, and you can actually feel that in your body. You can feel a change in the pressure in your eye, in your head, even your tummy.
At this altitude, there's roughly half the amount of oxygen in the air as there is at sea level.
So you have to breathe more rapidly, and any sort of exertion is difficult. I had to stop here. I mean, look at all these beautiful prayer flags. This is the highest road in the Shangri-La region. It's just short of 4,300 meters. These are really pretty, aren't they? But actually, they served a practical purpose in the past. People would place these prayer flags at the entrances to mountain passes so that travelers could see them. Because, of course, a mountain pass could mean the difference between life and death in bad weather. And they also had sort of a postal service running. If you had a message you wanted carried into the next valley, you could leave it here, and a passerby going in that direction could pick it up and take it on for you. But of course, coming up here, there are spectacular views to be seen as well. I mean, take a look at that. You know, travel in these regions can be really difficult. Most of the mountains are over 4,000 meters, many of them above 6,000 meters in height. This is an easy country to travel in at all.
Up here, the weather can change quickly, with snowstorms sweeping in unexpectedly.
Beginning to snow is amazing. 50 million years ago, there was a cataclysmic geological event where had the Indian tectonic plate crashed into the Asian mainland, and that caused an upthrust of ground that formed the Himalayas. In fact, that crash is still occurring because the Himalayas are still growing. During the Ice Age, there were mighty glaciers, and they carved into the landscape. And here you can see 2 U-shaped valleys parallel to each other. And the meltwaters that run out of these valleys flow downstream and eventually join the mighty Yangtze River. One of the things that's interesting, I think, about the Himalayas is that you can really feel the raw, untamed energy of our planet. I can't think of anywhere else where you feel so insignificant in the presence of the raw force of nature.
These mountains hold a secret. Hundreds of inaccessible valleys are hidden in their foothills. Protected from the weather by the wall of mountains above them, this is a wildlife paradise. One of the richest and most biodiverse places on Earth. It's also home to one of the world's rarest creatures, Yunnan's snub-nosed monkey. This is as far as the road goes. The rest of my journey is on foot. Yu Jianhua is a wildlife ranger at Baimashushan National Nature Reserve.
Ni hao, Jianhua.
你好，你好，你好。
Ni hao. Are you practicing?
哦，可以打拿过去。
Can I see?
Yeah.
Now, hunting animals is banned in China, but amongst the Lisu people, traditional crossbow skills are still highly prized.
Good shot.
Despite sharing the forests with them, the snub-nosed monkeys were never the target of the Lisu's arrows.
Why didn't you shoot the monkeys?
Traditionally, the older generations said that the monkeys were the ancestors of men. So we never ate monkey meat, and we never hunted the monkeys.
Putting his hunting days behind him, Jianhua helped to set up this national park to protect the monkeys that live here.
We have a term for that in Britain. We have the term poacher turned gamekeeper.
非常好。
Yes, to begin with, when we started the park, the monkeys were afraid of people. Our rangers had to go very high up the mountain to find them and protect them. Over the years, the monkeys have learned to trust us and come further down the mountain.
That's really interesting. Well, before we go to see the monkeys, it would be rude not to have a go. Right. I'm going to aim in lower, yeah. Yeah! Very good. It's a good point. Should we go and see the monkeys? Okay.
There are fewer than 2,000 black and white snub-nosed monkeys left in the wild, and they can only be found in this corner of Yunnan province. Jianhua is taking me to see a small troop that live over 3,000 meters up.
Look how steep it is and how dense.
So it's quite a climb in the thin air. But it's worth it.
Look at that.
Sleeping in the trees above us is a rare sight.
Another one. Look at that.
A family of snub-nosed monkeys.
Oh.
The mothers and babies sleep in the middle of the family group. The adult males on the outside.
They're beautiful.
Although they have thick fur to help them cope with the freezing temperatures, they still huddle for warmth. Once settled, they become completely still. They won't move a muscle for hours.
Amazing.
But our arrival breaks the spell. I'm exploring the secret world of Shangri-La, home to Yunnan's rare black and white snub-nosed monkey. They spend over 90% of their lives up in the trees, and so learning the ropes starts young.
It's pretty unusual to see monkeys like this. Normally they're a long way off in the hills and you see them just in the distance.
For tree dwellers, these monkeys are very fast on the ground. Chasing and wrestling are the young monkeys' favourite games.
They're like little wrestlers. They stop and they take the hand. They're like judo fighters, like Tai Chi. Here we go. Let's have another fight. Oh, yeah. Scrap. They do this wrestling where they grab each other's hands. It is like almost a formal wrestling match. You know all of these monkeys. You see them on a daily basis. Do you recognize particular individuals?
That male one is called Red Spot. He has a red spot on his face.
The big one.
Red Spot is one of about a dozen full-grown males in this 60-strong troop. He runs the show, keeping the younger monkeys in check. Red Spot's big canine teeth could inflict a nasty bite in a serious fight, but this is a warning nip.
I'm not sure there was anything really to break up. It's more, I think, of a degree of imposition of seniority.
Grooming is a way for the young monkeys to appease the adult males and to build alliances with them.
Just like humans, these monkeys live in family groups. They are polygamous. The strongest adult males have 6 or 7 female partners. The weaker males have 1 or 2.
You're beautiful. Look at that face. Beautiful markings. It's like they're wearing lipstick and face powder. Amazing. How serious do the fights become?
The serious fights are over the females and over food. Then they will bite and fight very fiercely.
Their most important food is lichen, which grows in abundance up here all year round. It's one of the main reasons that these monkeys live at this altitude.
They've had to learn to eat foods that are very difficult. They eat lichen, and they can only digest that by having a special stomach that enables them to deal with the acid. So they're pretty special creatures. Amazing to watch them. Watching these monkeys at play at this altitude puts a spring in your step. It makes you feel young at heart. It's very, very special.
This lichen is almost as rare as the monkeys. And although I could watch the monkeys all day, I want to find out what other secrets the valleys are hiding below me. The story of Shangri-La was based on the accounts of the early British and American botanists who explored and recorded this rich plant kingdom.
Now that is quite a view. Come and have a look at this. Look at that steep gorge there. That's what the landscape's like here. It's almost vertical. And you can hear the water running through here. So we've got great changes in elevation. We've got lots of water in the landscape. And what that provides is habitat, all sorts of different habitats that provide unique opportunities for different herbs and plants to grow.
The Victorian plant hunters sent home many now familiar garden plants like rhododendrons, iris and magnolias.
Take a look at this one. This is related to the mugwort that we have in Britain. People put that in their clothes to stop moths. You make the drink absinthe from it. But here, if you crush it and you smell it, oh, I wish you could smell that. It's as strong as eucalyptus. It's amazing.
They may be new to us, but these plants are well known to local people.
And this morning, I'm going to meet 2 experts in herbal medicine, a tradition which in China stretches back for thousands of years.
although these plant hunters arrive 21st century style on motorbikes. Yu Zhonghua and his son Shou Ming go out daily in search of plants for herbal remedies.
This is where we're going up here. I don't know what plant we're looking for, but I can see what they're doing in the habitat. They're looking for these damp areas, particularly on the rough slopes here, the steep slopes. We've got some polygonums growing here. Lower down there was burdock. We've got all sorts of ferns. And these wet areas, obviously you've got the water that runs down them, but you also have the humidity in these areas. There's like a splash zone from the water, and there's a whole communities of plants that thrive on that moisture. And you can see there's all sorts of things tucked away in here. You can see strange things there, not in flower now, it's the end of the year. And of course the herbalist's job is to know how to recognize things when they're not in flower. That's really important. I don't know, you guys are like mountain goats. The air's thin for me. What have you got there? Aha. This one here.
This is evergreen ivy. We use it to treat broken bones and cuts.
Everyone will recognize that leaf at home from Christmas. That's an ivy. I should think it's a hedera, probably nepalensis, something like that, because we're in the Himalayas. Interesting. So you use that for broken bones.
We dry it and grind it into a powder. Then we soak it in warm water and wrap it on.
So you're going to dig it up? So this is another plant for treating broken bones. I have no idea what that is. It's not something I've ever seen before. I'm going to climb down before I fall. Crikey. It's really exciting because we've got this long tradition of Chinese medicine and the use of herbs very much alive here in these rural communities. And yes, we've also got a modern knowledge of plants. We're learning new things about plants all the time. One of the things is that as the altitude changes, so does the exposure to ultraviolet. And plants protect themselves with different compositions of chemicals within their leaves to deal with that. And that means that the same plant harvested from two different altitudes can be useful for two different problems. So we live in an interesting age, a golden age, where we can explore ancient medicine and enhance it with new understandings as well. It's terribly exciting. Oh, they're coming back. I'm going to go see what they've got. Aha. What have we got here?
I have something for you. You use it for rheumatism.
So you use this for arthritis. That's very useful. You know, I think I might just keep that one. Shall we go back to the village?
Tongul village is home to the Lisu people. 90% of China's population are Han Chinese, but the other 10% is made up from 55 minority ethnic groups, like the Lisu. Most families here are farmers and almost entirely self-sufficient. They grow corn and buckwheat, and most people keep a few chickens. Tongul village is over 300 years old, and although time hasn't entirely stood still in the village, it looks almost unchanged.
This is a really traditional Lisu village. The buildings are all made of timber, and they're constructed with joints and pegs, wooden pegs. There's hardly a nail used in the construction. It's fantastic.
Pigs, goats and yaks are kept on the ground floor. The heat from the livestock helps to heat the living quarters above.
The roofs, none of it's nailed down. It's all just carefully lodged together, and then they put weights on the top. It's quite a construction.
There are lots of practical touches around the place.
And here, they've used vines to tie things together.
But the Lisu are also a spiritual people, and many families observe time-honoured traditions.
This is your home? I'm being invited into the home. It's a great honour. And here the door is decorated with chicken feathers and blood. That's to dispel bad spirits, but to welcome good ones. Oh, this is cosy. Shall I sit there? That's lovely. Thank you. Wow, it's very nice to be welcomed into a Lisu home. How did you learn about the herbs that you use?
My grandfather taught my parents, then my parents taught me. So I am the third generation.
That's fantastic. Now that there is a modern clinic nearby, do people still come for treatment in the traditional way?
We don't treat everything, but common injuries we treat are things like knife wounds, burns from hot water, rheumatism, joint pain or arthritis.
And of course, those are the problems that people suffer the most in a community like this. Thank you so much for welcoming me into your home and spending the day in the mountains with me. It's been a privilege. Thank you.
No elixir of life, but practical daily medicines.
These herbal remedies have been treasured for thousands of years, passed down from generation to generation, and to see a father passing them on to his young son to this day, well, that's wonderful. It means the knowledge is continuing.
It's been a real privilege to spend time with the people here and share some of Shangri-La's secrets.